Markets coming back from session lows following a disappointing jobs report. Employers adding 209,000 jobs last month, missing expectations and inching the unemployment rate up to 6.2%. Let's bring in the panel. Fox Business's Elizabeth McDonald, New Oak President James Frischling, and the Wall Street Journal's Veronica Dagher. Veronica, what did you think of this report?
You know, I thought it was, you know what, I think there's a lot of work we still need to do. You know, top line, you can see what the numbers are saying, but there's still a lot of people who are having part-time jobs. There's still so many people who are underemployed, and those numbers really aren't improving that much. And I think that's a real issue. That's what the Fed's looking at. But I think you talk to so many Americans, they are underemployed and not in the positions they want to be in.
Yeah.
This is not the immaculate recovery that, you know, Vice President Biden talked about in 2010 summer. You know, and we're still not seeing GDP growth annualized above 2.7%. We haven't seen that in years, right, Melissa?
Right.
So, you know, I don't think we should get accustomed or be happy about a 209K.
Can you reconcile the 4% GDP growth with this jobs report, which is okay, but is not great? I mean, it's not a 4% jobs.
And there may be some revisions to that GDP number, but I would say this. Traditionally, or rather in this rally, bad news for the economy has meant good news for the markets because it kept the Fed
But not today.
But not today. But because I think actually that this is the 5th consecutive month of 200,000+ jobs. So while with missed expectations, I do think that combined with GDP and some higher wages jobs coming in.
Do you think if you listened to the language of the Fed earlier this week that they were sounding more hawkish?
Yes, and the Fed is no longer going to put foam on the runway.
And that's what we're seeing.
Volatility is a natural bedfellow of, you know, normal markets.
Speaking of stocks, GoPro, oh no, shares of the mobile camera company tanking on the day after earnings. It reported a pretty massive quarterly loss as research and development costs nearly doubled. Look at that chart. It is so ugly. James, would you dump this? Would you see this as an opportunity?
You know, I respected the CEO. He puts this company out as a global brand, and with 38% of their sales coming from outside the U.S., I get that. But he also positions it as a media company, and that I don't see. I see it as a camera company. YouTube is the media company.
It's a gadget maker. I mean, it's like got one gadget. I shouldn't be gadget singular. That's what they have.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you something. You're making great points. I mean, this is a company that has no. I mean, it's valued like a U.S. Steel or, you know, or a Peabody Energy or a Legg Mason. That's what its market cap is equating to right now. It doesn't have the hard assets of those companies just yet, though.
Right. And, you know, in terms of the market, how big really is it, first of all? And then
how many do you need?
How many do you need? And what's to stop someone else to come in and create the same thing for a much cheaper price?
No barrier to entry.
No barrier to entry.
All right, time for a little payback, the good kind. After significantly less than stellar second quarter profits, some Samsung executives are giving back a quarter of their bonuses. I thought this was really interesting. I mean, very grim numbers over there. It's unclear, though, how large their bonuses were in the first place, but they're handing back 25% of them. Is this a new trend, do you think?
You know, Sony did this, too. Executives at Sony a few months ago handed back their annual bonus. We have yet to see guys like Stan O'Neill at Merrill Lynch or the guys on Wall Street handing back their bonuses after the subprime collapse.
Yeah. Do you think, would this be a good idea, VDAG? What do you think?
You know, I'm not sure what to think about this because I think the tech space, it's such a competitive place for employees and executives to work. People are always getting poached. You start doing something like this, I would think that would create a lot of ill will among the ranks. So what's to stop people from leaving? I would think they'd want to jump ship as soon as they had the opportunity when company starts doing this.
So Ackman could be backing himself into a corner despite admitting his hour-long Herbalife presentation was a, quote, PR failure. The Pershing Square manager could have completely crushed the chances for his own company to go public. You know, he's been out there a lot. We've seen him cry twice recently, I think, over JCPenney and Herbalife. I don't know how many of these guys you see out there come to tears. Trying to plan an IPO, and you wonder, do you think he did damage?
I think he did a little damage, but just a little bit. His performance has been exceptional, and any investor in this IPO is going to look at his historical performance. So while there's a little taint on this move right now, I would say that overall activist investors are hot right now. Activist hedge funds are performing at almost 2x the non-activists. So I do think they'll look beyond this and look at his
Tears or no, he's up 25% in the first half of the year. That's all anybody cares about.
The tears are a little scared, but you know, he's got $1 billion short on this company. So he wants the drama. He wants them to work.
Yeah. I mean, he succeeded in tanking the stock when he came out and said that he was going to have, you know, the smoking gun, but then when he didn't have it.
Yeah, there was no dead body in the back of the trunk, you know.
Yeah.
That
so disappointing when you open the trunk and there's nothing there.
He's a brilliant guy. He's heavily followed on Wall Street.
Yeah. All right, goodbye, old friend. Southwest Airlines and SeaWorld finally ending their decades-old partnership. They were co-branding. You saw, I mean, on the back of Southwest planes, you know, they would have the whale.
Shamu the whale, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know which of these two brands is more tarnished. You've done so much reporting on this.
Families are now, ticket sales are so key for SeaWorld. They have such a boatload of debt on their balance sheet. And so that is the problem for SeaWorld. How do you keep families coming in when you see stories that, you know, you're locking up Shamu the whale and those whales are not being treated so great and they should be out in the wild instead. And so Coke, Hyundai, you know, Toys R Us, Groupon also under pressure to cut ties with SeaWorld.
So you think that's what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. The Blackfish documentary is starting the sales.
It's not like Southwest is that great of a brand right now. I mean, we did a story not so long ago about the guy who was tweeting and got thrown off the plane. Like whether or not that really, or you know, whoever's side of the story was true, Southwest got a lot of bad PR out of it. These are two struggling brands.
These are two struggling brands. I also don't know how much of an upside it is for Southwest to associate with SeaWorld. How much business do they really get from these guys? Yeah. I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, take that, BlackBerry. Ryan Seacrest's Typo keyboard may have been pulled due to a patent infringement suit with BlackBerry, but the host is back in the game with his slightly adjusted Typo 2. You actually have one of these, James?
I have to admit that. Well, I found this because this is contraband.
Wait, you found it like on the street? You were walking around outside and it was laying there and you just picked it up?
I'll go with that story.
Okay. How'd you know it was a typo then? Is it a typo or a Typo 2?
It is the original Typo, which is contraband. I would say that I'm a loyal BlackBerry person. This might be the reason that I can get off BlackBerry and move to iPhone.
Have you been using it for a while?
I've been using it for a little bit, and I will say, while the BlackBerry keyboard is still better, the functionality on the iPhones, it's not just about email, text, and a phone. The functionality on the iPhone is just
Do you know the patent police are right outside?
I just don't know.
They're going to slap the handcuffs on you.
It's a new alias, Jay Fresh, just for that.
Yeah, that's right. You let me use that a little bit, and I read all your email, which was not that exciting, it turns out. But I thought, like, the balance is still off. It's good. I actually don't have an iPhone because I can't type on that, and I would prefer to have an iPhone, but I'm not, you know, I'm too old or something. I can't make it happen. Are you really able to type all the time and it's fine? Even the balance is off.
Again, it's for a BlackBerry person, it's a little difficult, but it's superior to the on-screen keyboard, and I think the function, this can make BlackBerry users transition. So I think that's going to be very exciting to see how many people sign up.
If the same thing doesn't happen that happened last time around, I mean, we were all excited about this. Ryan Seacrest was in on it, so obviously it's fabulous.
Maybe Apple will buy the company.
Yeah, but he got stopped because why would they have, like, why would they beat the patent issues this time, you think? Anybody want to take a stab
I guess if they try to change it substantially, I don't know if it's changed enough substantially. We'll see what the demand for this sort of thing is, though. I don't know if BlackBerry customers will make the switch.
Do you like it? Do you think it's a good idea?
I would try it because I really want an iPhone, but I don't know. I might keep my BlackBerry on the side while I'm trying it to see if it would work. You got another one?
I still keep the BlackBerry.
Oh, you still have your BlackBerry. Did you happen to find two of those on the street?
I might be able to find
You might be able to go back to the street and find another one. Okay, thanks, guys.